Imagine a well-known journalist, a beacon of truth, vanishing without a trace. Could you fathom the mystery, the intrigue, the unanswered questions? Meet John Doe, a name that sends ripples through the realm of investigative journalism. He was a stalwart in his field, a man who sought out the truth with unyielding tenacity. His articles were hard-hitting, his exposés revealing, and his reputation unblemished. He was the eyes and ears of the public, unafraid to question the powerful, unflinching in the face of adversity. John Doe was not just a journalist, he was a symbol of truth, a beacon in the dark world of deceit and corruption. His popularity was not confined to the pages of a newspaper or the pixels on a screen. It transcended boundaries, reaching people far and wide. His name was synonymous with integrity, his work a testament to his commitment to the truth. He was a household name, respected and revered by many, feared by those with secrets to hide. Now let's take a step back to the last known location of John Doe before his mysterious disappearance. The small, seemingly tranquil town of Serenity. A place that was far removed from the hustle and bustle of the city, a place where everyone knew everyone. It was here that John Doe was last seen, here where he was working on what he believed to be the biggest story of his career. And then, just like that, he was gone. No trace, no note, no clue to his whereabouts. A disappearance as sudden as it was baffling. The beacon of truth had been extinguished, the voice of the people silenced. The man who had dedicated his life to unveiling secrets was now cloaked in mystery himself. One day John Doe was here unearthing truths, the next he was gone, leaving behind a void filled with questions. The night of April 17th, 2024 started like any other for John Doe. Little did he know it was to be his last known day. John's day began with an early morning jog, a daily ritual he seldom missed, followed by a hearty breakfast at his favorite local diner. After a quick shower and a brief perusal of the morning's headlines, he set off to the newspaper office, a place he called his second home. As a journalist, John was known for his hard-hitting interviews. On that fateful day, he was scheduled to interview a local businessman with suspected links to organized crime. The interview, as expected, was contentious, John's probing questions and the businessman's evasive answers creating a palpable tension. Yet John was unfazed. He was known for his tenacity, his relentless pursuit of the truth. Following the interview, John returned home and enjoyed a quiet dinner alone, a simple meal of chicken casserole and a glass of red wine. He then spent the evening engrossed in a new book, a mystery novel he'd been eager to dive into. But after that calm evening, something inexplicable happened. The phone calls stopped, the texts went unanswered. The once bustling life of a dedicated journalist suddenly fell into an eerie silence. When friends and colleagues couldn't reach him the next day, they grew worried. A welfare check led to the chilling discovery: John Doe had vanished. His home was found untouched. There were no signs of a break-in, no signs of struggle. His car was still parked in the garage, his keys on the kitchen table. His wallet, identification, and credit cards were all accounted for. The dinner dishes were washed and put away. The book he was reading, marked with a bookmark, left unfinished on the coffee table. The lack of any disturbance was baffling. It was as if John had simply stepped out for a moment, intending to return. But he never did. As the clock struck midnight, John Doe had seemingly evaporated into the ether. The initial investigation into Doe's disappearance was, in a word, flawed. The local police force, more accustomed to dealing with petty thefts and minor disturbances, found themselves out of their depth. Here was a high-profile case that demanded expertise and finesse, and they were ill-equipped to handle it. The magnitude of the case was overwhelming. A respected journalist vanished without a trace in a town where everyone knew everyone. The police were underprepared and overburdened, their inexperience glaringly evident in their handling of potential evidence. Critical hours following Doe's disappearance saw a frantic scramble to make sense of the little that was left behind. Key pieces of evidence were mishandled, compromised. Chaos reigned where order was desperately needed. The crime scene, Doe's last known location, was contaminated by curious onlookers, eager reporters, and inexperienced officers. The media pressure didn't help. The story of Doe's disappearance was a sensational headline, a tantalizing mystery for the public to devour. The small-town police force found themselves under the harsh glare of national attention. Every misstep, every failed lead, every passing day without resolution was scrutinized and criticized. The investigation was further hampered by a frustrating lack of leads. No suspicious characters, no out-of-place vehicles, no unusual activity. Doe seemed to have vanished into thin air. The town's residents, usually a wellspring of gossip and speculation, were unusually silent. The shock of Doe's disappearance, combined with a fear of becoming the next victim, had a chilling effect. And then there were the suspects, or rather, the lack thereof. No one in the town had any reason to harm Doe. She was well-liked, respected. She had no known enemies, no shady dealings, no secret lovers. The absence of a clear suspect added another layer of complexity to an already convoluted case. The investigation was a maze with no exit, a book with missing pages. Doe's disappearance remained a mystery, a puzzle with too many missing pieces. The initial investigation was an exercise in futility, a series of dead ends and false starts. This was just the beginning of a long and frustrating journey to find the truth. With a dearth of solid leads, theories began to circulate, each more sensational than the last. The perplexing disappearance of our journalist, John Doe, left a vacuum that was quickly filled by conjecture and speculation. One of the most pervasive theories was the idea of a cover-up. John was known for his hard-hitting investigative pieces, often shining a light on the darker corners of our small town's political and business landscape. Some suggest that his latest story, a deep dive into the local council's financial misdealings, might have hit a nerve. Could it be that the very people he sought to expose had the most to gain from his sudden absence? The motive here, of course, would be to silence a formidable critic and to safeguard their reputation. But then there's the notion of a kidnapping. John was a beloved figure in the community, and his stories often ruffled feathers. Could someone have taken him as an act of revenge, or perhaps as a twisted attempt to control the narrative? The motive in this case would be retaliation or manipulation. But again, this is mere conjecture. Finally, we arrive at the theory of voluntary disappearance. It's a hard pill to swallow, but we must consider every possibility. John had been under immense stress, both from his work and his personal life. Could he have decided to step away from it all, to vanish into thin air? The motive here would be escapism, a desperate need for a fresh start, a clean slate. But would John, a man so dedicated to unearthing the truth, leave his life's work behind without a trace? As we delve into these theories, it's important to remember that they are, at the end of the day, theories. They're born from the human instinct to make sense of the inexplicable, to fill the gaps left by unanswered questions. But the truth, elusive as it may be, is often stranger than fiction. Each theory added another layer to the mystery, another twist in the tale. We continue to search for answers, to piece together the puzzle of John Doe's disappearance. And until we find those answers, these theories, these questions will continue to swirl, feeding the enigma that surrounds the case. Today, the case remains as cold as a winter's night, yet the fire of curiosity still burns brightly. The enigmatic disappearance of our journalist John Doe continues to be shrouded in mystery, a puzzle that has yet to be solved. The local authorities, despite their initial flawed investigation, haven't completely abandoned the case. New leads are pursued as they surface, only to often lead to more questions than answers. A few years ago, a promising lead emerged when an anonymous tip claimed to have spotted John in a distant city. However, upon investigation, it turned out to be a case of mistaken identity. Yet such instances have served to keep the case alive in the public eye, fueling speculations and theories. In the realm of public interest, John's disappearance has taken on a life of its own. True crime enthusiasts, armchair detectives, and even professional investigators outside the small town have taken a keen interest in the case. Internet forums are abuzz with discussions, debates, and dissections of every minute detail related to John's vanishing. Podcasts have dedicated episodes to the mystery, while amateur sleuths tirelessly work to piece together the puzzle that is John Doe's disappearance. The enduring fascination has also driven some to take action beyond the digital world. Volunteers have organized multiple search parties over the years, trudging through the same woods where John was last seen, hoping against hope to unearth some long-overlooked clue. Others have taken to interviewing locals, trying to jog memories of that fateful night, or perhaps uncovering a piece of the puzzle that has been overlooked or forgotten. In the midst of all this, the family and friends of John Doe have remained steadfast in their hope for a resolution. They continue to appeal to the public for any information related to John's disappearance, their resolve unbroken, their spirits undeterred by the passing years. There is a haunting beauty in the mystery, a captivating allure that continues to draw attention to the case. Yet it's important to remember that at the heart of this mystery is a man who vanished, leaving behind a void in the lives of those who loved him. As long as John Doe remains missing, the mystery endures, a puzzle begging to be solved.